Creating a magic system that feels unique, cohesive, and tailored to a specific narrative can be a daunting task for any writer, but by breaking it down to 6 common approaches, the process becomes much easier to tackle. These approaches are 1. Cookbook, 2. Engineering, 3. Art, 4. Negotiation, 5. Divine favor, and 6. Reality warping. Magic as a cookbook involves a rigid system of well-defined spells with fixed and well-known effects. Think like Kiraga in Final Fantasy, or using a specific dragon shout in the Elder Scrolls. This is common in video games, hence the examples given, but it's not limited to that alone. For instance, the spells in Harry Potter fall into this category. There's a specific way to act for it to work, a mindset needed, and the spells are consistent in how they act. Of these 6, this is the hardest on the hard to soft magic spectrum. Magic like this is equivalent to science. It's measurable, testable, repeatable, and demonstratable. Magic systems where there are specific items or tools that achieve results fall into this category as well. So, for example, the One Ring and the Death Note belong in the Magic as Cookbook. In these cases, the magic user is a competent tool user. When using this system, it may be possible for wizards to invent new spells, but this is often a lengthy, expensive, and unreliable process. Thus, it is more fitting for academics than explorers. That said, one way you could approach this is if spells were once known but are now lost, so the mages are acting like archaeologists, seeking to discover new spells. Or maybe the spells come from gods, with humanity being unable to understand how they create them and need to persuade the deity to grant a new trick or create an item for them. Magic as engineering is similar to Cookbook in that it involves a system of fixed, documented methods. However, it permits a bit more improvisation than Cookbook does. Standardized stuff will likely be more reliable, but the more innovative magic users have an edge in complicated situations. In the long run, those with a deep understanding of their powers will go further. Another way you can think of it is like hacking. They all have the same base code skills and work from the same foundation. However, those who learn stuff much more deeper can do far more with it. The Nin system from Hunter x Hunter is a great example of this. There are key principles that are recommended for people to learn at a basic level, but those who are much stronger in the world understand the system at a much deeper level than others and can do more individualistic things with it. Brandon Sanderson's Cosmic Magic system are all unified under this as well. Each magic system is an individual expression of the same overarching rules, and, on the surface, there's a simple, straightforward application of the possibilities. It falls more into engineering because of how everything can compound and how extensive knowledge of the rules can lead to new solutions and techniques. Stories with this system are great when you wish to explore the possibilities with magic in depth. It's also great for innovation and cleverness, such as seen in Naruto with chakra. Part of Naruto's growth throughout the series with his most powerful move, the Rasengan, involved him expanding his knowledge of chakra, running into problems, experimenting with tactics utilizing chakra, creating solutions to deal with those problems, and refining his solutions to become more and more efficient. Magic as an art is even more personalized. For it, there is far too much conditional aspects to standardize. Magic users are typically quick-witted improvisers with a broad knowledge. It's called artistry since each magical creation is a unique creation of this specific person. There are still likely common elements that exist, but it's even more personalized to the individual. So, for instance, stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Devil Fruit users from One Piece fall into this category. There are some elements which remain consistent with stands and Devil Fruit users, but the utility is far more personalized to this specific individual. Magic from the Dresden Files falls into this category as well. In its case, magic is shaped by the user and can be formed through their will. They can use certain words or gestures to produce stuff, but these are more aids than anything necessary. Often, in these systems, the framework isn't perfect or just a learning aid, and other options do exist. The magic system used by mages in the Arcane Casebook series is another great example to look to for magic as an art. Of the 3 primary forms of magic used in the series, Mages are very feeling oriented, to the point where a character who transforms a bunch of enemies into pigs during let's call it a manic rampage. It's complicated. Regardless, while she could do it then, once she's returned to normal, she has no clue how to fix it since, while she theoretically can undo it, it requires a state of mind that's alien to her now that she is no longer in the state she was when she did it. Other mages in it also note that, while they theoretically can cast the same spells that other mages do, they often focus on their specialty and find replicating how others do their specific thing challenging. If you want to involve outside parties more, magic as negotiation is the way to go. This version often involves supernatural beings, typically spirits. The magician's role is that of a negotiator who knows how to not only make contact with the entity, but can persuade, cajole, bribe, and coerce them into doing their bidding or stop them from doing something. It's a more shamanistic style. For an example of this magic system, there's me when I ask you to press the like button on this video and point out that doing so encourages me to keep producing content like this for people like you. For a more fictional example, there's the Bartimaeus sequence. In it, demons are bound to magicians who summon them, and often seek ways to destroy the users who command them. Servants from the Fate Stay Night franchise would also fall under this category. Or at least this is the type of magic used when bringing servants into the world for the Holy Grail War. For one more example, consider the contracts from Chainsaw Man. They are a great example to look at, since it involves humans sacrificing something to the devils they're communicating with in exchange for supernatural abilities. The humans who do this don't have to worship these beings though, which is the key difference between magic as divine favor and magic as negotiation. If negotiation is mixed with religion, the magic is what's done to achieve practical ends, while worship and prayer are directed to higher beings as a matter of respect. Now, when magic is divine favor, it's often called something else like mysticism or miracles. Worshippers aren't commanding anything. They're politely asking or perhaps proposing something to this figure. Still, it's ultimately up to the gods to act as they please. This type rarely includes spells and the like. Outcomes are ultimately determined by the deity's whims, capabilities, and judgments. The divinity itself may be limited in some way, but that doesn't matter. If they can be worshipped and can respond to worship with power, it can be treated as a god. This includes things like Satanism or such as well. This type of magic commonly makes the magic wielders into rule-bound servants, such as the Knights of the Cross in the Dresden Files. Or, for a great example, the Wittershin books feature a protagonist who functions with this sort of system. She receives aid from a god who she is the lone worshipper of, as she's the only person left who knows about him. Since his continued existence relies on prayer and acknowledgement, he makes a point of favoring Wittershins. The softest form of magic is reality-shaping magic. This is when reality itself is open to change. Magic is the art of reshaping it. One way magic could be seen in this one is as a cheat code that alters things. So, for instance, Neo inside the Matrix falls into this sort of magic system. Or, to reference the Fate franchise again, this is what true magic is. Wanda's powers as the Scarlet Witch in the MCU also fall in this category. Magic of this variety can look like one or more of the previous categories, but it is far more flexible, and the rules could easily change at any moment. Magic users in this camp might clash on a metaphysical level, such as matching skill or wit to decide who is the supreme control over whatever. Thinking on it, the metaverse in Persona 5 might fall into this category as well. You, meanwhile, should think about where your magic system slots in with these. Or, if you're designing a magic system from the ground up, use this as a starting point. This info is actually one of the 3 questions I often ask myself at the start of designing a magic system. To be precise, the question is, what is magic conceptually? If you want to know what the other 2 questions are, subscribe to my channel so you know when those videos are released.